Hello and welcome to Plus TV Africa. We thank you for joining us. I'm Lakwe Banjo. We're staying on top of fluid developments from the Donald Trump White House, where President Trump has denied using election campaign finances to make payments to two women who allegedly had affairs with him. Lawyer Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to violating laws during the 2016 presidential election over his handling of the hush money. Interviewed by Fox and Friends, Mr. Trump said the payments had come from him personally, not from the campaign. He has in the past denied knowing about one of the payments. Altogether, Mr. Trump has also accused Mr. Cohen of making up stories to receive lighter sentences.
Later on, I knew. Later on. But you have to understand, Ainsley, what he did, and they weren't taken out of campaign finance. That's a big thing. That's a much bigger thing. Did they come out of the campaign? They didn't come out of the campaign. They came from me, and I tweeted about it. You know, I don't know if you know, but I tweeted about the payments. But they didn't come out of campaign. In fact, my first question when I heard about it was, did they come out of the campaign? Because that could be a little dicey, and they didn't come out of the campaign, and that's big. But they weren't. It's not even a campaign violation. If you look at President Obama, he had a massive campaign violation, but he had a different attorney general, and they viewed it a lot differently.
Moving swiftly to China, where reports say there are plans to file a fresh complaint against President Donald Trump's tariffs at the World Trade Organization. The threat comes after the US imposed a second round of tariffs on $16 billion of Chinese goods in an escalation of their trade war. The 25% tax came into effect at noon in Beijing, affecting goods including motorcycles and antennas. There are fears that more tariffs could further hurt companies and consumers. China's Commerce Ministry warned of a counterattack after Washington imposed the new tariffs, saying it clearly suspected the US of violating the World Trade Organization rules. It filed the first complaint at the WTO in July. Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull stubbornly clung to power on Thursday as senior ministers deserted him, saying he would hold a second leadership vote on Friday, only if he received a letter signed by the majority of the ruling Liberal Party. Prime Minister Turnbull narrowly won a leadership vote on Tuesday against former Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton. Dutton and senior ministers on Thursday called for a second ballot.
So I now await a letter with the signatures of a majority of the party room. If I receive, which is 43, if I receive that, then I will convene a new party room meeting. The party room, of course, met on Tuesday and confirmed my leadership by a majority. So we need to see that there is a majority of members, and they need to put their names to it too. These are momentous times, and it's important that people are accountable for what they're doing. That before the party meeting is held, we have access to the advice of the Solicitor General on the eligibility of Mr Dutton to sit in the Parliament. And we expect that advice to be available first thing in the morning. That's what the Attorney General's advised me. This is a very, very significant point. As we all know, Section 44 has been a companion of this 45th Parliament, but I cannot underline too much how important it is that anyone who seeks to be Prime Minister of Australia is eligible to be a Member of Parliament, because a minister, let alone a Prime Minister, who is not eligible to sit in the House is not capable of validly being a minister or exercising any of the powers of a minister.
The Secretary-General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, and staff members have remembered former Secretary-General Kofi Annan on Wednesday, describing him as a leader who put people at the centre of the UN work. During a wreath-laying ceremony in New York, Secretary-General Guterres led staff members in paying respects to Kofi Annan, whom they described as the embodiment of the intergovernmental organisation that worked to improve the lives of men and women worldwide. Kofi Annan died on Saturday at the age of 80 in Switzerland. Mr. Annan, a mild-mannered diplomat from Ghana, rose through the UN system to become its 7th leader in January 1997, serving 2 consecutive 5-year terms till December 2006. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Away from international matters to politics in Africa, as Zimbabwe's highest court is expected to issue a ruling on Friday on a petition in which the country's main opposition group is seeking a nullification of July 30th presidential election won by the incumbent Emmerson Mnangagwa. The judgment is reserved and the court should be able to come with a judgment at 2 p.m. on the 24th of August, which is Friday, said Zimbabwe's Chief Justice Luke Malaba, after hearing submissions for nearly 10 hours from lawyers of the country's main opposition leader, Nelson Chamisa, Mnangagwa and the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. The Movement for Democratic Change accused Zimbabwe's Election Commission of rigging the vote in favour of President Mnangagwa and his ruling ZANU-PF party. According to the official results, Mnangagwa won nearly 51% of the vote to defeat MDC leader Nelson Chamisa, who received just over 44%. The MDC says the commission inflated President Mnangagwa's vote totals and says that more ballots were tallied at some polling stations than there were registered voters. When Mr. Chamisa's supporters took to the streets the day after the election commission declared President Mnangagwa the winner to protest the results, police responded by using tear gas and live fire, killing the opposition's challenge, forced Mnangagwa's planned inauguration on August the 12th to be postponed. If the court upholds the incumbent president's win, his inauguration would take place within 48 hours. A rebel leader in the Republic of Congo on Tuesday accepted the principle of laying down arms in his first public appearance since he agreed to a ceasefire last December. Frederick Binsamu, also known as Pastor Ntumi, is head of a powerful militia called the Ninjas, which launched a revolt in April 2016 in the southern region of Paul, prompting more than 138,000 people to flee their homes. On December 23, 2017, Binsamu's group signed a ceasefire deal with the government, which was touted as laying the groundwork for peace. Binsamu committed to facilitating the collection of weapons held by the ex-combatants, but did not follow up on this, saying he opposed unilateral disarmament. Blanket amnesty, renegotiating military deals with Russia and restructuring the army are among several demands that the armed groups in the Central African Republic have presented to an African Union expert panel seeking to broker peace in the country. An AU document seen by AFP lists 97 demands by the armed groups in return for peace, with a government of national unity required along with the amnesty and restructuring of the army. The African Union has been leading a peace process in the Central African Republic, but there has been little progress. And in Uganda, more than 80 artists, including Chris Martin, Angelique Kidjo, and Damon Albarn, want Bobi Wine freed. Some of music's biggest names, including Chris Martin, Angelique Kidjo, and Damon Albarn, have signed a petition calling for the release of Bobi Wine, a Ugandan MP and pop star. The opposition politician, whose real name is Robert Kyagulanyi, has been in detention for more than a week. The musicians have condemned his vicious treatment in custody. Bobi Wine's lawyers say he has been seriously assaulted in detention, which the military denies. Still on African matters, and in Nigeria, the state's chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Ini Okwepido, in the APC National Youth Caucus, Chairman Mr. Iniobong John, have blamed the People's Democratic Party for the attempted attack on the former Senate Minority Leader Godswill Akpabio in his country home at SCM Udim local government area of Akwa Ibom State, of coastal southern parts of Nigeria. A statement by the media aide of the senator, Mr. Anietie Ekong, in Uye Uyo on Tuesday, confirmed the attack. He explained that 10 unidentified gunmen stormed Akpabio's residence and shot sporadically, causing a stampede among those who were attending a crucial political meeting in the House. Mr. Ekong, who eulogized the security operatives for their quick intervention that halted the attack, however, noted that a retired Deputy Inspector General of Police, Mr. Udom Ekpo Udom, was seen making frantic calls for increased security to help repel the attack. Meanwhile, the Akwa Ibom State Police Command has reacted to the reports of attacks on Senator Godswill Akpabio by unknown gunmen. The police described the claim as false, adding that no such incidents took place. Anietie Ekong, a personal assistant to the former governor, had yesterday evening said that some unknown gunmen stormed the senator's home in Ukana Ikot Ntuen Essien Udim, Akwa Ibom State, around 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday. He also told newsmen that the gunmen were shooting sporadically in front of the lawmaker's gate. Mr. Ekong said the gunmen were later repelled by police officers and other security personnel attached to the senator. But addressing reporters on the matter, the police public relations officer in the state, Odiko Macdon, said there was an attempted robbery at a filling station close to Senator Akpabio's house. The filling station is 200 meters away from the senator's house. Still on Nigerian politics, President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, on Wednesday called on old and returning members of the People's Democratic Party to unite and work for the party's victory in 2019. The Senate President made the call while addressing members of the party in Ilori, the Kwara State's capital. The Senate President, who returned to the PDP from the APC on July 31st, 2018, assured all members of the party in the state that they had an equal stake and that he had no anointed candidate. He said, "We are here to unite all of us under the party that we belong today. There will be equity, there will be internal democracy, and there will be justice." The national chairman of the PDP, Uche Secondus, has told President Buhari that Nigerians will not be swayed by his claim that he walked 800 meters to demonstrate his health status and thereby ready for second term in office. Rather, the party said Nigerians would be looking for a competent and knowledgeable president who it said must have the capacity to tackle many problems facing the nation. The former ruling party wondered why walking what it described as a mere 800 meters had become a thing of joy to warrant a statement from the presidency. It was believed that President Buhari decided to walk from the Eid praying ground in Daura to his private residence on Tuesday to show that he was not sick. The president's senior special assistant on media and publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, confirmed that the president decided to take the walk to reply those insinuating he might not be in good health. The third mainland bridge is the second largest bridge in the African continent. The Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing in Nigeria says it will shut down the Lagos Third Mainland Bridge for a 3-day emergency rehabilitation and maintenance from midnight of Thursday, August the 23rd to midnight of Sunday, August the 26th. Our correspondent, Mary Chinder, looks at the implication of the temporary closure of Nigeria's commercial city.
Lagos is Nigeria's commercial nerve center with an estimated population of between 70 to 20 million persons. It strives to be a center for excellence. With the daily hustle and bustle of city life, motorists will again be inconvenienced, but this time for their own good. With the Genoa Bridge incident still fresh in the minds of Italians and the investigations to ascertain culpability, diverting traffic from the Third Mainland Bridge is to conduct investigative maintenance tests. A lot of planning across multiple federal and state agencies has been underway to make this exercise seamless.
Been carrying out maintenance work. We've ensured that some of the alternative roads, we ensure that some of the potholes, emerging potholes have been fixed. And that's what we've been doing a couple of weeks.
With the bridge cordoned off to vehicular movements, motorists coming from Ikeja, Ogba, Ojodu-Bega, Korodu, and Mile 12 are advised to use Ikorodu Road to connect to Ojuelegba, Funsho Williams Avenue to link up to Eco Bridge.
The arrangement has been put in place to ensure that there are route assurance signs to calm the traffic. So we should look out for these signs. We'll be seeing them very shortly on our roads to direct you diversions accordingly.
Eco Bridge will play a critical route of passage, but the biggest challenge on this stretch of the road is the semi-permanent presence of haulage and heavy-duty vehicles that remain parked on the bridge. That in itself poses the biggest threat to the structure and impedes the free flow of traffic. This is Ikorodu Road, and this is one of the roads that will be serving as a diversion with the closure of the 3rd Mainland Bridge on the midnight of Thursday to the midnight of Sunday this week. Now, this traffic on this road is already in a very terrible situation, and that's because of the presence of heavy-duty trucks that are parked all over, and one could only believe that in the next 3 days it might even get tougher.
There's nothing we can do because even though when they are using the terminal, it's still working. There's a lot of traffic in the Lagos State because Lagos State is somewhere that they are congested already. But the way they have informed that they are by 2023rd of this month, they are going to lock it up, they are going to for the inspection of this thing. There's nothing we can do. We have to bear it.
There's nothing we can do because it's for the benefit of everyone using the road. We need to be patient.
Officials are confident that traffic management will be aided if motorists hit the adversary of officials who will be on duty to ensure free movement.
Our general advice is compliance. We know that there's disruption of movement, but as alternative routes have been provided, we expect all motorists, either commercial or private, to comply with directives at all times in order to have a seamless traffic flow.
So as motorists brace up to what may be long drawn-out delays, they may find succor as roadside vendors provide them with essential items, if only to cushion the effect of sitting bumper to bumper and the unpleasant heightened tensions in traffic. Mary Chinda for Plus TV Africa.
Thanks, Mary. Up next is our business news, and we'll take that right after this break. Welcome back. And in business, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group's Joint Planning Committee have finalised plans for its 24th summit. This provides captains of industries the opportunity to brainstorm on feasible methods to move the economy forward. The theme for the upcoming summit has also been agreed, tagged Poverty to Prosperity, making governance and institutions work according to a statement released by the group. The forum provides a unique opportunity for all participants to interact and share thoughts on key issues and challenges facing the Nigerian economy. Ethiopian Airlines is collaborating with 4 African airlines and has inked a deal to set up a 5th as it continues to expand on the continent. This was confirmed by the group's CEO, Tewold Gebre-Mariam, who said that his company has finalized deals giving it a 49% stake in the National Airlines of Guinea, which recently relaunched after 15 years on the ground. The next was Chad, whose airlines was grounded in 2012 over serious safety concerns. It has also finalized a deal to take a 45% stake in Zambia Airways, which went under in the 90s, and taken over the management of Equatorial Guinea's airline, which has also battled safety concerns. Ethiopian Airlines has also formed a new airline in Mozambique with full ownership. The carrier from Africa's second most populous country already has interest in the airline of Malawi and Togo-based private carrier Askai, and has signalled its desire to help establish nascent state-run carrier Nigeria Air. Still ahead on Plus TV News is our roundup on entertainment and sports. We'll be back in a moment.
And in entertainment, celebrity actress Kate Henshaw took to her Instagram page to voice a serious warning to people that advertise in the comment section of her posts. The Nollywood actress mentioned she will not hesitate to block anyone that does that henceforth. According to her, her page is solely hers and she has every right to decide what happens on it. She exclaimed after a post she made on the late former United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan and was disgusted to see advertising at the comments section. Kate Henshaw then made it clear that her page is not a public toilet where anyone comes to dump their waste. A sequel to successful Crazy Rich Asians movie is apparently in the works. The sequel is based on Kevin Kwan's second book, China Rich Girlfriend. Reports say Warner Bros., who now own the rights to all Kwan's books in the series, is planning to bring back the same crew that worked on Crazy Rich Asians. However, as they are currently busy with other projects, it doesn't look like production will be underway anytime soon. China Rich Girlfriend tells the tale of Nick and Rachel as they head off to get married when Rachel gets a shocking visit from a man who, as it turns out, is her father. That's it on entertainment. The best in sports right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I'm Maroon Folukufeji. In October last year, Georgian footballer Guram Kashiak took a stand by wearing a rainbow armband while playing for Dutch Eredivisie side Vitesse. This action sparked protests from anti-LGBT protesters in his homeland of Georgia, and he also faced threats and abuse. For this bravery, he has now become the first recipient of UEFA's Equal Game Award. The award recognizing players who have acted as a role model in promoting diversity, inclusion, and accessibility in European football. UEFA President Alexander Seferin said, Guram has taken an important stand to support the LGBT community and equality overall and deserves to win this award, end of quote. The 31-year-old says he has never regretted wearing the rainbow armband. I believe in equality for everyone, no matter what you believe in, who you love, or who you are, end of quote. The defender will be presented with his award at the UEFA Champions League group stage draw and gala in Monaco on the 30th of August. Now moving on to Spain, players in the Spanish football top division are said to be annoyed over a decision made by La Liga to play a top-flight match in the United States. La Liga agreed to a 15-year deal on Friday with U.S. media company Relevant in a bid to promote football in North America. The Spanish Players Union, AFE, held a meeting with AFE President David Aganzo on Wednesday with a number of top players, including Real Madrid captain Sergio Ramos and Barcelona Sergio Busquets, in attendance. The AFE says the players were 100% against the proposal and they were not consulted by La Liga before the agreement was made. You have to be more sensible. It is disrespectful to have signed an agreement for 15 years with an American multinational company. The AFE said on its website that unless satisfactory agreements are reached, the players had agreed to adopt the appropriate measures of force. And that's it on Sports Update. I'm Maroon Folukufeji.
And that's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube page at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us. I'm Lakbe Banjo. Have yourself a great morning.